I stood there staring at my wife as she casually scrolled through her phone, her demeanor detached. The realization hit me like a cold wind. There was no room booked for me. It wasn't an oversight, it was deliberate. They had planned everything meticulously, except for one detail: my inclusion. My name, missing from the itinerary, wasn't a mistake. I asked her calmly at first, "Where's my room?" expecting this to be some misunderstanding, a minor slip we'd laugh about later, but her expression told me otherwise. She didn't flinch. Instead, she shrugged, her tone dripping with indifference. "You'll manage, right? It's not a big deal." Her words echoed in my head, but before I could fully grasp them, one of her friends chimed in. "Honestly, only the important people get rooms. It's just how it is. You'll understand." A chorus of laughter followed, each chuckle landing like a slap across my face. My wife didn't defend me or explain. She sat there, silent, as if their words carried no harm. The room felt smaller, suffocating, the air thick with their smugness. It wasn't the lack of a room that stung. It was the lack of respect. They weren't just excluding me from the vacation. They were erasing me from my role in her life, belittling me in plain sight. Her friends lounged on the sofa, expensive, handbags perched beside them, drinks in hand. Their dismissive glances said it all. They thought they had the upper hand, like I was some outsider encroaching on their exclusive little circle. "I guess I'll leave then," I said, my voice steady, betraying none of the turmoil inside me. Their laughter faltered, replaced with surprised glances, as if they hadn't expected me to walk away. My wife blinked, caught off guard, but she didn't stop me. She didn't say a word. I walked past them, each step heavy, refusing to look back. As the door closed behind me, my phone buzzed. First one call, then another. I ignored them all. Their laughter still rang in my ears, but I didn't let it consume me. This wasn't the end of the conversation. It was the beginning of something they weren't prepared for. Downstairs, I sat in the living room, their muffled laughter continuing above me. My phone buzzed again, and I finally answered. It wasn't my wife. It was one of her friends. "You're being a bit dramatic, don't you think?" Her voice was syrupy, the kind people use when they're pretending to care. "It's just a trip. Not everyone gets a room. The resort has couches. You could sleep there." Her condescension was palpable, like I was a child who couldn't handle teasing. "I'm not coming back," I said simply, and hung up. Moments later, another call came through, a video call this time. Against my better judgment, I answered. The same group of friends huddled on the couch, my wife in the middle, her expression indifferent. One of them, the loudest of the bunch, grinned. "We were just talking about you," she said, as if that was supposed to make me feel included. "Don't be such a buzzkill, okay? Vacations are for the important people in the group and, well, you're not exactly the star of this one." She laughed, and the others followed, even my wife. Her laugh wasn't malicious, but it wasn't apologetic either. It was the kind of laugh that said, "I'm going along with them because it's easier than standing up for you." "You're right," I said finally, my voice even. "I'm not the star of your group. Enjoy the trip." Before they could respond, I ended the call. Their mockery lingered, but I was too tired to care. It wasn't anger I felt, it was something colder, sharper. But as a reminder of authenticity, before I had learned to make myself small. As my social life naturally evolved, I reconnected with friends my ex had deemed unambitious and discovered new passions: hiking, mindfulness, and simply enjoying my own company. 18 months in, our startup was scaling faster than expected. At an industry conference, as I presented to potential investors, I noticed a familiar face in the audience, one of my ex-wife's colleagues, the same man from that humiliating dinner. After my presentation, he approached me. "That was impressive," he admitted, extending a hand. There was no awkwardness, no lingering shame. Those feelings belonged to someone I no longer was. 2 years after that dinner, we secured $12 million in funding. A major business magazine featured our company, and I woke to an influx of messages from former colleagues, college friends, even my high school chemistry teacher. Among them was a LinkedIn request from my ex-wife. I hesitated but accepted. Minutes later, a message arrived. "Congratulations on your success. I always knew you had potential." I almost laughed. Even her praise carried an air of condescension, as if my achievements validated her judgment. I composed several replies before settling on a simple, "Thank you." No sarcasm, no engagement in an old power dynamic. That chapter was closed. That evening, as my executive team and I celebrated, our CFO mentioned a potential partnership with a luxury hotel chain, the Meridian Group. The name hit me immediately. My ex-wife had worked there during our marriage. "Who's their marketing director now?" I asked. "Someone named Richardson, based in Chicago." "Not her." A curious mix of relief and detachment settled over me. "Set up the meeting," I said. "The hotel industry is exactly the kind of high-visibility client we need." The following weekend, I attended the opening of our first East Coast Distribution Center, a milestone in our growth. Standing before a press audience, I reflected on how far I'd come. The man looking back at me in the mirror now stood straight, shoulders relaxed, with a confidence that had nothing to do with height. 2 years ago, I had been diminished. Now, I was thriving. I hadn't grown an inch, yet I stood taller than ever before. 2 years after my divorce, I stood at the opening ceremony of my company's new distribution center, addressing a crowd of city officials, employees, and media. Among them, I spotted a familiar face, my ex-brother-in-law. After the event, he approached me. "You've built something impressive," he said. "Thank you. What brings you to Boston?" "I live here now. Saw the article about your company and wanted to see for myself." We chatted briefly before he hesitated. "She's not doing well. Lost her job, moved back with our parents. It's been humbling for her." A mix of emotions stirred in me. No triumph, no sympathy, just understanding. "I'm sorry to hear that." As I flew home that evening, his parting words stayed with me. "She was wrong about you." But I no longer needed validation. I had already proven my worth to myself. A week later, my phone buzzed. A message from my ex-wife. "We need to talk. It's important." The old me would have responded immediately. The new me set the phone down. It could wait. When we met at a neutral coffee shop, she was different. Her designer labels gone, her confidence tempered. She got straight to the point. She was starting a marketing consultancy focused on sustainability and wanted to collaborate with my company. Her pitch was solid, her research thorough. 3 years ago, I would have been desperate for her approval. Now I simply evaluated her like any other business proposal. "I'll discuss this with my team," I said. "We have existing partnerships to consider." "Of course." She slid a portfolio across the table. Our hands brushed, once a charged moment, now meaningless. As we stood, she looked up at me, a few inches shorter without her usual heels. The physical difference was the same, but everything else had shifted. Before leaving, she asked, "Are you happy?" I considered my answer. "I'm at peace. I respect the work I do and the person I've become. If that's happiness, then yes, I am." She nodded. "I'm glad. You deserve that." She glanced back once before walking away, not with regret or longing, just quiet acknowledgement. As I returned to my office, I felt no triumph, no bitterness, just indifference. My success, my happiness, my self-worth had nothing to do with her anymore, and that was the truest measure of how far I had come. If you've made it this far, consider subscribing to our channel. It helps us immensely. Check out these 2 videos. We think you'll enjoy them. See you in the next story.